Carl's Jr.'s new guacamole double cheeseburgers, only $299.
You forgot the decimal?
Only $299.
Not decibel, decimal. The guacamole double cheeseburger is only $2.99 at Carl's Jr.
Oops. Available for a limited time. Price and participation may vary. Tax not included.
There is an abundant offering of mystery and wonder within our universe. But what do you get when you infuse humor and joy into each and every conversation to helping others gain insight within that mystery and wonder within our everyday lives? Well, you get the Mystery and Wonder podcast, where you will gain exactly that, a greater experience to the abundance within. And so here is your host for today's podcast, Trixie Phelps, only on Real Revolution Radio X.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. I am Trixie Phelps, founder and owner of my healing business, Soul Balancing, and now with my new podcast show, Mystery and Wonder. This is exploring our universe and its extraordinary and amazing life, past, present, and future. So thank you for joining me here. I'm so excited to be sharing with you my experiences as well as those of my guests. So let me first give you a little bit of information about myself and how I came to be here with the show. Of course, I am a fifth-generation sensitive, empath, intuitive, and healer. As a little girl, I can recall, now it's easier in hindsight, but I can recall looking back and remembering spirits in my room or hearing someone talking to me when no one else was around. And thankfully, they were very pleasant experiences. They weren't frightening or scary. And to my knowledge, I don't believe I've totally shut those out from this lifetime. Now, there's a different story if we're talking past life. That's another interview. I can remember even playing with my friends or the animals and feeling energy coming from my hands. You know, there was just little tall tales that kind of told me I was different from a lot of other people. And I do remember a time when I was visiting my dad, and he was having health issues, knee pain, back pain. He was fighting cancer. And during that time, I had taken a moment to place my hand on his knee. We both became quiet. We were silent for just a short bit. And then he says to me, "You have the hands of an angel." And he said it with such calm and clarity that it really struck a core piece of me. And it was then I could significantly say that's when that light came on as a young adult to begin really exploring my gifts. And over the years, I did eventually connect with my first shamanic teacher, a Reiki teacher. I did animal Reiki. I still do intuitive palm reading, wire wrapping, teaching myself how to do crystals and jewelry, and connected with my second shamanic teacher, and the list goes on. It's just amazing how synchronistic things are when we put it out there to the universe, what we're seeking and ready for. And, of course, with all my combined gifts and talents and all these offerings, I established my business, Soul Balancing, at soulbalancing.world, if you're curious to check out more of me and what I've got to offer there. But given how the universe connects us, it was clear that I was waiting. Like I just kept feeling like I was waiting and waiting. Like still I know I'm in this area. I'm still going to be a healer. I'm still going to be doing something. So I kept feeling this waiting, probably for a few years. And in that time, I can look back and remember having sparked interest around radio hosts and then asking questions. And I'm like, well, what about this question? But you didn't ask that question. Like certain questions would have pulled more information, at least so I thought. And I can remember being guided to play and learn with certain audio and video software. I played with sound effects and making voiceover commercial ads. Well, yeah, all these things. Little did I know that it would eventually bring me to where I am now on the radio program. Speaking of which, Joel, who is my producer, we had already been connected on Facebook. And I didn't even realize that he was a producer or ran a radio program of any kind. And I think we had connected through a mutual friend. One day he was doing a video, and I stayed for the duration. And he had mentioned how they were looking for additional hosts for the program. Well, that struck a chord and sparked my interest. I immediately reached out to him, and, of course, we began communicating back and forth. And after a couple of months, it was official. Here I am, now on Real Revolution Radio XO with my show, Mystery and Wonder. It's here that I invite a variety of professionals that covers a variety of topics within the physical industry. And speaking of which, I would love to now introduce you to my newfound friend here, Amber Frelin. Amber is a quantum healer and life coach. She is a quantum healer and life coach specializing in subconscious reprogramming. She helps people to get to the root cause of what's holding them stuck in their area of health, relationships, and abundance, among other things. She helps people to find their subconscious blocks and clear them out for good, allowing them to finally get the results that they are looking for in all areas of life. And while we have the interview, if you're interested in checking out her website, please visit thetrinityroom.com. Thetrinityroom.com. Well, welcome, Amber. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you so much. I'm incredibly excited and touched to listen to your introduction as well as listening to you read mine. Thank you so much for having me today.
Absolutely. My pleasure. So interested to see what you have to share with us on theta healing, on this quantum healing, how people can access their subconscious or utilize the tools that you offer to do that, to get unstuck. I'm so excited to see what you're bringing in today for our conversation. Well, just start here. Let's start as to what brought you to doing this work.
Oh, my goodness. That's a good question. I'm sitting here listening to you start the show thinking there really are a million ways we can begin.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is a topic that not a lot of people have explored, and this is also a topic that a lot of people who have not been seeing results with other things like the law of attraction, needing to take things to a deeper level, feeling confused about why they may have not seen results yet in certain areas of their life. This is the one topic that I've seen kind of break the mold and show people, yes, all the energetic work you have been doing is incredibly important. All of the time and effort you've been putting into everything that you're creating is incredibly important. Sometimes there's just one missing step, and that is understanding the subconscious mind, understanding how to utilize science-based technologies that we use the body for to find out what is in the subconscious mind, which is a mind bender in itself, because when you begin doing this work, you start to see that there are subconscious beliefs that you've been carrying, sometimes since you were a child, sometimes lifetimes, if you believe in past lives, which I'm sure a lot of your listeners do. We can carry ancestral belief systems in our DNA from lifetimes of our ancestors that we didn't even experience ourselves, but is embedded in our DNA. Belief systems about money, belief systems about relationships, past trauma that creates these blocks inside of our subconscious mind that is literally keeping us safe and keeping us from creating different results in our lives in order to keep us safe. So,
coping mechanisms.
Absolutely, yes, and just a program to keep things the same. So once we begin to tap into this is when we begin to see incredible results where we felt stuck before. And a lot of times it's very surprising what you find in there, because our conscious beliefs can be very, very different than our subconscious beliefs. And so I think that an important thing to touch on today is what the subconscious mind is in the first place.
That would be a great place to start for so many that may not be aware.
I'm just going to take a sip of water. So the subconscious mind is running behind the scenes, and it's creating up to 90% of our reality without us even knowing it. And a good way that a lot of people will recognize that is a really great example. It's a side note example, but it's a good example. Do you know how people talk about negative self-talk? We hear a lot these days about negative self-talk, how people don't realize that the dialogue that's going on inside their mind is actually negative thoughts about themselves, negative thoughts about their bodies, talking down to themselves about how much they're able to accomplish, things like that. Those kind of things, they're going on inside of you without you knowing it. And it's not until you learn that you begin to actually listen to that dialogue and then you can begin to change it consciously. We're talking about a similar idea, but on a much, much, much deeper level. The subconscious mind has programs from the past, and such as, I'll give you some examples, some that I see quite often. It's not safe to lose weight, I find often. Mm-hmm. We don't necessarily need to find where that came from. All we need to know is that with the technologies that we have and the energy work that we can do today, we can actually remove a subconscious block like that with theta healing and subconscious reprogramming technologies. Another one is that money is evil. As crazy as that sounds, there are a lot of people who will find upon testing for these beliefs that they have a belief like that, or I can't have money and love. That's another one. I mean, I have hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of blocks now that I've helped people to clear, meaning that we have used applied kinesiology or muscle testing technology to go in and find what is inside of the subconscious mind. And then, like I said, we clear it out. The reason that this works is because the subconscious mind is the body's intelligence, and it actually resides inside of every cell in the physical body. So if you haven't heard of muscle testing or applied kinesiology, it is the idea that we can use the physical body to get answers. As Trixie mentioned, inside my website, what you will find are a few videos that explain this in depth, and it'll actually walk you through clearing 5 of the most common subconscious money blocks. Is a gift for me on that website that she mentioned and that she'll mention again at the end. But what happens is we walk people through muscle testing, and the reason that it works is because the subconscious resides in every cell of the body, like I mentioned. And so the body responds in different ways when you make statements. When you make a statement that the subconscious mind believes, or a belief system that the subconscious mind holds, your body will respond in a certain way. And when we see that response, we are able to go in with theta healing and subconscious reprogramming to either clear a negative belief system out, or to download a positive belief system that will allow someone to go forth and reach those goals.
Wow, this is wonderful. Yeah, well, I'm able to follow that because I have a different background of understanding in there. But, yeah, I think it sounded really well, even for those that perhaps may not have been aware, to even look at the possibility of what could be running in the, subconscious or unconsciousness of their day-to-day actions that they're not even aware is running.
Yeah, exactly.
All these programmings and how it could even be connected through DNA, lineage, through our experiences and traumas and, the programming of society, culture, religion, right? It goes on and on and on as to how one individual could easily be in a position they're in. But the good news is there's a relatively easy way to adjust, alter, edit, change it.
Yes.
Clear it out.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, this is phenomenal. This is good. So for many that don't understand what theta healing is, or working with the subconscious reprogramming techniques and so forth, it's not the process of hypnosis, correct? It's
no
conversational. I mean, you'd be talking and it works as you go, right?
Yes, it's much different than hypnosis. There's a specific code that we run, an energetic code, similar to, if you think about computer programming, which essentially is quite similar. There's a specific code that we run for different things. And so when we find a block within someone through muscle testing, we always ask their permission, and then we go in with the code that we have learned and perfected over time to clear a belief system out or to download it, and then we go back and have the person repeat that phrase again just to make sure that the change has been made, and then we move on to the next block, to the next subconscious belief that we're testing.
And isn't that fascinating to learn within yourself where you've got blocks that you didn't even know you had blocks until you muscle tested, and then your body's talking to you through that method of muscle testing to say, hey, there is something here.
Yes, it's quite fascinating that it works. It's very much science-based, but the first time you do it, it's pretty profound. It's pretty exciting to have a block, give permission to have it cleared, and then test again and see that, in fact, it is cleared, and know that that same block should never have to be cleared again. We may find similar ones in the future, but we should never have to go back and rework the same things. We spend time in every area with clients, like I said, hundreds and hundreds of things, and you never know if you just might find the one block right away that's been keeping you stuck in multiple areas of life. You never know when you're going to find that one deep underlying belief system that has really governed your reality for most of your life, created most of the pain in your life. When you are able to find one like that and clear it out, your perspective on life in general changes. Your results obviously change, but so much emotional freedom comes as well from releasing something like that. That kind of, I hate the term coming up is rear its ugly head. It's like the theme that comes up. We all have an underlying theme. You know, people suffer with anxiety for years. People suffer with worry. People have trends in different areas that they're unable to break through. And once you are, and that trend stops popping up on a daily basis, your life experience really can shift tremendously.
Right. Amazing. It is fascinating. There's a couple things that come to mind as you're sharing this, right, is that it can be that simple, but secondly, it works that thorough and that permanently for those that are ready and been there, say, I'm finished, I don't want this no more, versus those who are holding on to their stories and playing the victim. At least that's been my experience, you know, to working with clients.
Yes. You make me think of such an incredible point. Oh, I'm so glad you said that. Because deserving and unworthiness tends to be such a strong underlying belief system in all areas. So when you said people who are ready and willing to do the work, people who accept that they deserve to live their best life, accept that they actually are worthy of breaking through these things and give themselves the opportunity to explore these new modalities that they're learning here on your show, begin to do this work, begin to find, oh, I didn't think I was worthy of, like, abundance. Holy moly. For 30 years I've worked hard and couldn't figure it out, and I'm giving big, and I'm a kind-hearted, soul-centered person doing great things in this world and can't produce wealth for myself. And I didn't know my subconscious was carrying a belief from a couple lifetimes ago when I made a vow to poverty because of a certain situation. And this whole time, I haven't been failing. My subconscious wasn't on board with my dream. It's a beautiful thing.
It really is, isn't it? To in learning more about the subconscious and all the programs that are running, it really is beautiful because, well, what a blessed unconscious kind of programming to keep us safe, you know, and to keep us working and moving and, you know, and as best as it could. Well, back in the days when things were very different, they did their job. It's done what it needed to do, and we're finding now, because of significant shifts on the planet and, you know, the frequencies and all the influences that we have, it's just a different place in time that we no longer have to run those same old programs or thinking processes or coping mechanisms, and they've gotten to a place now where we can change those or release them completely, and these modalities like your Theta healing is fabulous for this type of work.
Thank you. Yes, you made me think of, you know, back in the day when your intuition caught on to a danger and it was life or death immediately. And we still live that way now, and it's not that way now. We're not running from a tiger in this moment, although maybe we say something we didn't mean to say, or we get embarrassed, or somebody, you know, the little tiny things, they stimulate that same cortisol release in our body, this fight or flight, because we feel unsafe in a small situation. I'm talking little things out and about at the grocery store or whatever, and it throws our physical body into the same state that it did lifetimes ago when we were in physical danger. It's interesting. Very, very interesting.
It is very interesting. Do you have a story of one of your occurrences, awakenings, experiences with this work and in this way of releasing something you've been carrying?
Yeah, there's so many. Let me tap in for a moment. There's so many client examples, of course. But I'm inspired to share my husband's story, and then I'll probably tap into my own story a little bit too. But my husband has a great abundance story. He's an incredible marketer and designer, and he knew all of these technologies many years ago, but he wasn't putting them into use in a way that he just wasn't taking the time to do it. I think on one hand he understood the power and was a little intimidated by it, and on the other hand just so too busy to even take the time to center and really focus on it. But just having so much knowledge and so much passion, such a big heart, and working nonstop for hours and hours on end, and not being able to create the abundance that he wanted, deserved, and desired. And finally started using these technologies. Actually, one of the first times he used it with others, started using it on himself, and started seeing great change in his own life, to the point where he had the courage to share this technology on stage in front of a very large group of people. And I was there witnessing and really didn't even know his plan as he went on stage. He and I were going on stage multiple times over a 3-day event. And he decided to do this exact, what I just explained a moment ago, to a large group of people. And he had everyone stand, and everyone muscle test a belief system around wealth and abundance. They all got to know it was deserve to be wealthy or deserve abundance or something like that. Everyone got to know. And he ran the Theta healing clearing program for them on stage to everyone at one time, retested, and the whole crowd all at one time just got a solid yes. And what that means, for those of you who haven't experienced it yet, is your body moves forward when you test the belief. And I'm telling you, the whole crowd shifted. It looked like a wave of people, and everyone gasped at one time. So it was a really profound experience to witness, as everyone says, and you just go, oh my goodness sakes, we have this incredible technology, we have this incredible gift to share with the world, and we've got to share it on an even larger scale. But just how fast it can work, how fascinating it is, how easy it is. And that was a profound moment that I wanted to share, just as well as, my husband continuing to use it on himself and continuing to do it with me, and he and I continuing to create everything in regards to health and relationships too, not just abundance, of course, all that, though that's just a really common theme for most people, and a theme that a lot of people like to discuss, because I find a lot of blocks with abundance for many, many people. So that's one solid, exciting story. And then I'd love to go a little bit deeper and just mention briefly that many, many years ago, I actually overcame chemical dependence myself, which I know sounds like a deep dive off down a tangent, but I used energy clearing and energy healing really to shift from an incredibly deep, dark place in my own life, a true rock bottom, hopeless, very, very unhealthy place. And I used quite a few technologies, including this, to shift my life on a cellular level, on a neural level. I don't know what I would do if I did not use energy healing technology such as this. I would be in a much, much different place. And so I'm incredibly grateful for this type of healing on a level I honestly can't even put to words. I'm so incredibly grateful for this healing technology, Trixie.
Yes, I can resonate with that and the healing aspects of it. There's a phrase that's often used that's called "the grass is greener on the other side," and it, to me, for my whole life, has never made any sense whatsoever. I'm like, where's that green grass? And I'm looking at everyone, it's sort of in the back of my mind, in a way, because you hear them say it, and it's like, I don't get it. It's not making sense. It doesn't resonate. What? Well, it was after having experiences like you're talking about that you've healed through something that was really holding back. And when you did get to the other side of that healing, it's like the grass is greener. Now the saying makes sense to me.
I love it. Yes, especially because when you're in that deep place, you don't know. There are so many people in this world right now who are in a place where it is very hard to see a way out, a way onto the other side. It is incredibly hard from that point of view to think of any grass being green. And so, to find that that is true, to find that every one of us is here to live our best life. Every one of us is here to learn lessons and to give big and to love and to be loved and experience that. And we all deserve, no matter what we've been through, no matter what we've done that we'd love to change, no matter anything, no matter what, you're always worthy. You deserve it. You're here for the contrast. You're here to grow. And ultimately, you're here to experience a life beyond your wildest dreams. That is my deep, deep belief.
Yes, I would agree with that as well. Coming out of some past times of being controlled, and that is like a deep conversation, but we don't have to take it that far. But, family and culture, religion, or society, and there's a lot of people telling you who to be or how to be, and it's never to the authentic self of the person. It's based off of those expectations that others want you to be this way or to do these things because it makes them feel better, so they don't have to look at their stuff. It's kind of a general way to say that, and now I feel that we've significantly moved enough forward as a human race to be able to say, hey, wait, that's not me, or hey, that's not my truth. And then be able to say, who am I and what is my truth? And, we find those pieces to the puzzle based on who we connect with or, what we're learning. And it's all so divinely orchestrated. It's just phenomenal how much we have choice in the whole thing. And when you, at least for those that I know of, when there's that sort of awakening moment that says, wait, hey, there's more to me than this. I'm done with all that. Let's go this direction. It's just so fun to be a part of those experiences and assist in helping those people go that direction or, get there if we can. I love that.
Yes, me too. Well said. Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Well, good. We're just close enough, I think, to a break. Maybe we'll go ahead and take that now. And again, while we're at our commercial break, if you wish to continue and look up all the wonderful things that Amber is offering, and plus they have a gift, a free gift. If you go to their website, thetrinityroom.com, there is a gift of an exercise, I believe it is, correct, that walks them through an exercise of money blockages. And, of course, that's something they can listen to and do themselves right off of the website. Is that correct, Amber?
Yep, that's right. You'll find one video that explains this a little more deeply, and then the second video you'll actually be able to take part in your very own healing. I will walk you through muscle testing, and we'll be able to clear the top 5 blocks in the areas of finances and abundance.
Amazing. Yeah, take advantage of that. Go to our website, save it in your favorites or your bookmarks so that you can refer back to that, because you could do it again and again. Is that correct, too?
The great thing is, believe it or not, you shouldn't have to ever clear the same blocks twice.
Not the same one, but those other layers that might surface, right? Those other threads that are somehow still connected. It would benefit from that.
That's true. Yep. So you'll find that gift there, and then you'll also find more info about how to keep in touch with us and how to work with us more closely.
Wonderful. So everybody visit thetrinityroom.com, and we will return right after this commercial break.
Whether it's coming from the world of entertainment, integrative medicine, quantum theory, conspiracy fact, ancient archaeology, sacred geometry, financial trends, or perhaps even from the very world of self-help and motivational speaking, Real Revolution Radio possesses the information you need. Listen today to our daily inspiring lineup of podcast radio talk shows, only on realrevolutionradio.com.
Today, to the Marine Show, where we will introduce you to the world of alternative remedies. Join Maureen Pisani as she hosts discussions with leading experts in the fields of hypnotherapy, acupuncture, yoga, Ayurveda, EFT, chronic healing, integrative medicine, and so much more. Maureen will also brave topics that many consider taboo. Yes, taboo talk. Tune in today to The Maureen Show, heard on popular social media and now on Smart TV. It's a Mindfulness Radio production, only on RealRevolutionRadio.com.
True healing must address 4 levels: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, for us to live joyful and productive lives. We tend to treat 3 of the 4, leaving the spiritual languishing. If you're tired of the same dysfunctional patterns cropping up in your life, Soul Balancing is for you. Trixie Phelps, owner and founder of Soul Balancing, is a naturally gifted energy healer trained in numerous esoteric forms, including shamanism. Trixie has created a powerful modality that safely and effectively clears your energetic field. A Soul Balancing session can remove interference, heal trauma, and restore your hope. Contact Trixie for a life-changing long-distance session today. www.soulbalancing.world.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cleveland, we now have liftoff to a higher level of consciousness. Tune in to RealRevolutionRadio.com, the #1 source for independent music and inspirational podcast radio. Awaken, evolve, inspire, and join the evolution only on RealRevolutionRadio.com.
You're listening to RealRevolutionRadio.com. There's hope as long as you're alive.
Excellent. Thank you for joining me back on the second segment of the show with my special guest, Amber Frelin, the quantum healer and life coach. We've been having some wonderful conversations about Theta healing and subconscious reprogramming. Just really curious to see, what else this amazing thing, how does it actually work, for an average day-to-day person? They've got their regular jobs, they might have their family and their life, right? The baby kids are around, a lot of responsibilities. So to take time, what kind of time are we talking about to even just do some of these exercises that you're offering?
Yeah, that's a great question. As long as you'd like. I mean, we can clear. I would say that clearing the 5 blocks maybe takes 10 minutes at the most. And so you can do. We have a group coaching program that we go live with once every week, and we clear 10 to 20 blocks. We spend about an hour together, but we also dive deep into how having those blocks could affect your life, how changing those blocks could have a positive impact on your life. So it's just up to you, but over time, even a few minutes every couple of days can set you on the fast track to where you're wanting to go.
Oh, that's worth it, isn't it? Taking 10 minutes a day every so often and just work it through, and you'll be there before you know it, really.
I use it all the time now. If I'm creating something, I mean, I'm inspired often. If I'm working on something, I don't really know what comes through. There's a lot of angelic channeling that I do, which is something else we could talk about if it comes up. But often I'm just let me see if I have this block, or maybe I'm getting a breakthrough on something. What's going on there? And I'll just stand up and test a few blocks that I'm feeling like might need to be tested and cleared for myself. And then other times I channel the angelic, like I said, download a long list of new blocks that I want to share with clients, and then go through for myself and see if I have those blocks as well, because I find that one of the greatest things that healers do is forget to take care of themselves.
Oh, yes.
So practice what you preach was coming in pretty strong as a download in the recent past, and so I've really been taking the time to take my own advice and make sure that my subconscious is on board with everything that I'm helping everybody else with too.
Absolutely wonderful. I can't even begin to commend you for that, because I agree. I'm in the same place as, I've seen healers. I've experienced a lot of variety of healers, and some that's been doing it for many, many decades. It's very important that the practitioner that's doing the work or offering the services has done their own. And in some cases, those that have been doing it for a few decades, well, so they'll say they have, but somewhere along the way they stopped. Exactly. You can just kind of tell. You can sort of feel it and tell in what's being presented, or the clarity or the depth or the quality of what's being presented. When you've got, practitioners like yourself who continues to stay on top of their own, you're bringing forth such clarity and profound healings for those that you're offering it to. It's phenomenal, and it's barely even a comparable thing to anything else out there, because it's so pure. You're coming from that clean of a place. Because when you're working on yourself, it's not just removing blockages or healing things. A lot of times that's also involving where you're balancing yourself out to be confident or to be balanced in all ways, right? Both for yourself as well as for those that you're offering with. And then that clears the channeling as well. Like you said, you do angelic channeling. I'm guessing that's where you probably get a lot of your guidance. Is that correct?
Exactly. Absolutely. And I also was thinking, as you spoke, about the fact that my clients, this is incredible. I did not expect this to transpire the way that it has, but my clients will ask one simple question. So I've got to create content on a weekly basis that is 10 to 20 really good subconscious beliefs to see if people have and help them clear out. And what has happened on a weekly basis for an extended period of time is a day or two before, I will get a profound question from one client that is very important to them. You can tell it's a heavy energy, emotional question that they are needing help with. And so what I do is I sit down in an inspired place and ask the angelic realm to help me. And, you mentioned at the beginning as you introduced yourself about working with spirit yourself, and I've also been doing that since I was a teen. And I will call on the angelic realm and call them in and find out who is with me. I don't call anyone specifically. I call in who I need, and then I inquire about who they are. And then I ask them to speak through me the blocks that we need to clear this week in regards to the question that came through from a client. And typically it's a different person. Every week just has a really profound question, and it sets off an inspiration inside of me to where I know that this is our weekly topic, and the angelic realm will help me complete this weekly topic. And I sit in my sacred space until I've downloaded, like I said, 10 to 20 subconscious beliefs to test and clear. And what always amazes me is that I get a lot of feedback from the rest of the group that topic was incredibly important for them that week too, which just goes to show you how connected we all are as a large collective and as a smaller collective. When we're working together in this way, everyone is breaking through these same things at the same time. And it's so beautiful to me because it brings people together, and it provides validation that people aren't alone in what they're going through. And I don't know, it's just so beautiful to me the way that it works.
It really is. It's just like really opens up the mind, especially if we're those that have come from that I'm alone state, of thinking, and into the synchronicities are a big part of that. Whoa, what was that? The omens or the experiences. There is no such thing as coincidences. So everything is divine. And I'm going, if that's true, then this is really cool. The guides and the support, and even though they're not incarnated or physical, it is a true blessing to be able to have that kind of connection to guide us. And that's actually a very common one we all have within our intuition. Everybody's got it. It's just to what degree everybody has it. Some less than others and some way more than others. And, of course, you'll know if your calling brings you into, like, these modalities to share with others, where maybe another person has high intuition but is chosen to have this life to work just strictly on themselves, and not offer it out or such. But yeah, there's a lot of synchronicities, a lot of people going through, like I also say, like a theme. There's sometimes a theme among groups of people.
Very
and that's
so.
Yeah, that's what comes through as a support to helping them move to their next steps. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it can transpire pretty quickly over time, too. Working as a collective on one thing and then the next thing, and then, I don't know, it's just really cool to see people step more into their purpose through that process and feel more confident.
Yeah.
To hear stories about people who have felt secluded and unable to really go out in public and are breaking through, that's a big, beautiful breakthrough to celebrate. And it's all across the board. You've got your business people that become more successful. You've got people who were unable to find a soulmate for many, many years, and that they are able to do that. That's life-changing, and weight management has always been a really, really deep piece of my heart because of my fitness and nutrition background for 20-plus years. But to have someone who knows that they know what to do and they're not seeing results and they're frustrated and hopeless and every negative emotion you can think of can come with living inside of a body that you don't love, and then to find out, guess what, it's never been your fault. You've always been doing the right thing. Your subconscious wasn't on board with that. Now we get the subconscious on board with that. You can even eat more of the foods you love. You can spend less time doing the exercise that you don't like and spend more time doing things that you love and actually finally feel into a body that you love. That is a huge breakthrough for people.
Yes.
Life changer.
It is huge. It is. It truly is. Because there's a lot of those systems that have been out there that is not effective, or it doesn't really work, or for some it works for, like diets is an example. It works for some but not others, or it works for a little while but not for very long, or, because it's not there's like, what was available was very limited, and it was not a one-fits-all, which is how it seemed to be presenting. When you get down to the individual, then you start to see more specifics, like you said, you being a health, person in your past of this year, 20-some years of all the nutrition and stuff. So knowing what needed to be done or the approaches were to be done, and maybe you were doing them, but wasn't giving those same, feelings or results. So there's just something to say that there definitely is so much more to what could be in our experiences than what we've been told. Originally. Until
we get to the energy, we are kind of swimming upstream. We've got to get down to the energy, and we really do have to get down to the subconscious too, and just simply make sure that the subconscious is on board with what we're creating consciously. And when we do, we're unstoppable. Those two have to be in alignment.
Yeah, and I find, too, that even those that are ready or wanting to voice it, right, they don't actually voice it, where some will be far more outspoken. But even if there's people who are internally quiet or more introverted, there's a lot of people out there, even if they're just feeling the message and they're saying it in their head, it still works. I'm ready. I want change, right? I'm going to try this modality. I'm going to look at this energy, healing or such and such. It can be that simple versus someone who's saying it out loud, outspoken, the extrovert, versus someone who's quiet, barely speaks out loud, introvert. Yeah. It still affects. This is just as effective no matter who you are, as long as you're feeling that or speaking that message even to yourself internally.
Yeah.
Still powerful.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Very much.
I wanted to throw that in there because I really feel like there's so many people out there that feel like just because they're introverts, they're left out of the loop. And it's so not true. It's just so not true. There's so much power that they carry as well.
Yes, and it's so funny because that's probably a subconscious belief of theirs. I mean, it's a conscious belief for sure of someone who would say that.
Right?
But
it's true.
There's a lot we can shift with that, too. I'd love to test and see what the underlying belief is there. It's so
that
beautiful.
Is excellent, yeah. Yeah, and the muscle testing I wanted to point out, too, because for me, there are certain muscle testings when I've practiced over the years that they really don't resonate with me. The one that really does resonate is the one that I've always called the leaning test, but that's the one you use the most, right, where you stand and lean forward if it's a yes, leaning back if it's a no. And there's slight leans. Sometimes they're more dramatic than others, but they're slight. And that type of muscle testing, again, which I always called leaning test, it was the most effective. Like I really felt like I could trust what was coming through. And I think that would really work for a lot of people, especially if they're not already familiar with it, to do the leaning test. That standing muscle testing approach, it really is effective.
I agree. That is the one that is most reliable. Unless someone can't stand, I usually use that test. If someone can't stand, then I teach them other tests. And then there's different ways to calibrate, and making sure that you're hydrated when you do this work is key. I didn't used to like the standing test. It's pretty funny. Before I started doing this with others, when I was doing this with myself, I have scoliosis and pretty crooked back. And so I didn't play with the standing test for years. And now, for many years, it's been the most reliable.
It's amazing because we're talking to all of that, which is our body. And there's a lot to our body. There's a lot of communication, a lot of connection, besides just the intuition part. There's everything is energy. So each individual organ or aspect of our body, they're either going to be against each other in some cases for some people, or they'll be all on the same board. You're going to feel that unified message run through your whole body.
Exactly. Yep. And the muscles respond 16 to 22% when you make a positive state. When you make a statement that the subconscious resonates with or believes or agrees with, your body contracts, your muscles fire, and that's why you move forward. And that's why this is a scientifically proven method for this. It's pretty interesting when you first see it and then you research it and go, oh, that's why it works. I see. It's
wonderful. Even for food, even just deciding what kinds of food or vitamins or supplements or minerals or nutrients. And, I could walk down that section of the department store or the grocery store, and be like pausing in front of certain things that I'm thinking I might need. And I'll do the leaning test or that standing muscle test, and my body tells me yes or no. And then I know that I'm making valuable purchases then and not just wasting money on stuff that my body doesn't need. So it's like you're giving your body an opportunity to chime in. The consensus of what the brain, you already know it's chattering up there. And then you're getting the consensus or the other opinion of the body on it. I think it's really magnificent to gather that information. And they have scientifically proven how there are brain cells in our heart and in our gut. So technically we do. We have a body brain, a body mind. Why not include that in our decisions? It just makes more sense. It really does.
I love hearing that you use that. I use that as well.
You see someone in the aisle at the store and they're leaning way back or way forward. Around Colorado, it's not as weird. It's pretty common to see weird. In stores.
I can't wait till the day we walk around and everyone's leaning all over the grocery store.
It is a funny sight, but it's so cool though. It really is. I would also like to clarify that muscle testing in general is largely based upon our belief system. So whenever you're testing for blockages, traumas, triggers, things that you might not even realize is playing in the background, or even if you're just doing muscle testing for foods, supplements, nutrients like we've been talking about, just keep that in mind, that when you do this, it's based on belief systems, meaning that it's going to change. So daily, weekly, depending on what's happening for an individual person, those muscle testing answers of a yes or no will vary depending on what has shifted. There's so much more, and I hope a lot of the listeners really understand the depth of what we're trying to share here, is to knowing that we're not alone and that there is a lot to be said, a lot to be offered, and a lot that can be done to get someone unstuck in an area of their life. Whether that's health or relationships or the abundance, like all those are the common ones that are sort of the forefront. Those ones that kind of, I often say it like this, I think you might have referred to it slightly different earlier, but it's like it's in your face. That's the way I always described it. It's time for another session or another healing, or something's up for you because it's in your face. And then we want to, by default, push it down, bury it, detach from it. And that's been, unfortunately, the process for far too long. But in taking that knowing, even if you did it, you're still going, whoa, I just pushed that away. There was something intense. It was triggering me. I think I need to go reach out to my practitioner, my healer, get a session.
Exactly.
Yeah, yes.
Yep. And we find, I didn't realize, those are I think those are the primary colors, like red, yellow, blue. Finances, relationships, and health, right? Those are the broad umbrella. And then underneath, we've worked through habits and addiction. We've worked through confidence and personality traits, safety and protection. I'm just skimming my mind for all of the topics we've had. I'd have to look, but it's all of those falling underneath these other sections, But
yeah, there's definitely a large list of things that this healing approach can assist with, and I want to really mention your premium group on Facebook, which if there are those that have Facebook accounts, go to Facebook and look for the Trinity Room, and you'll find that as a member of this group, the premium group's Facebook page, you have the opportunity to participate in those weekly gatherings, like you talked about earlier on Wednesdays, that you do, as well as sometimes, don't you do solstice and equinox as well, or something, full moons? No, you do the moons. Is that correct? Every full and new moon, I love to play singing bowls and walk people through a really deep epigenetic meditation, and then we go live every Wednesday for subconscious reprogramming specifically, a different topic every week. This week is self-care, and we're going to do an energetic cord removal ceremony. So we definitely dive deep. We clear 10 to 20 blocks every week. We go live 6 to 7 times a month, depending on where the moons fall on the calendar. And we have a beautiful time there. Yep, everybody's welcome. And while you're a member in the group, you have access to all the previous recordings. So if you happen to miss a particular event, or exercise, then those that are in the group can always just go back when it's convenient for them and then follow through with that. It's an amazing kind of a resource. I encourage anyone who's curious or interested to really check it out and try it for a while even. Give yourself a good month or 2 or 6. Just really play with it, because you're going to find that you're going to shift, and you may not want to leave because it's really helping, especially through these times where it becomes very stressful, right? And there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of things rattling loose, shaking loose, the stagnant or stuck type of energies, and really gets the people freaking out a little bit, like they don't understand what's happening. And this is a nice resource to be able to reach out and utilize these videos and these clearings in this way to assist during those times, given everybody's probably going to experience it slightly at different times than others.
Yep, and you'll find exactly what you need at the moment that you find it. You'll find what topic you're resonating with the most at whatever time. And you're right, we're coming up on this holiday season where it's really important to make that sacred time for yourself every week. So thank you for your feedback on that as well.
Yes, I love that. It's just one of my favorites, is to be able to access the information afterwards, because, even if you're there live and attending and you're participating, there's only so much you're actually really obtaining, in that whole time. And so to be able to go back and review it even a second time, whether you need it or not, it's like when you watch a movie or read a book, there's always another good nugget you missed, or pieces it even more together than it was and makes it even stronger, more profound. So, yeah, I love that feature very, very much in these types of offerings. Yes, absolutely. And I'm curious, because I'm feeling kind of drawn to ask if there is a short, with the time that we have left, to do a little clearing on a particular topic, or would you be open for that?
Oh, yeah.
Wonderful.
Absolutely. So we can walk everyone through. You want to do a little bit of subconscious reprogramming, and then listeners can take part in it as they listen?
That would be wonderful. Yes, let's do.
Beautiful. That sounds so exciting. Okay, sorry. There's a guy mowing the lawn outside. I hope it's not too loud.
I don't hear it at all at this moment.
Perfect. So I'd welcome all of you, anyone listening who has the chance to take part, go ahead and stand up, and if possible, face north. If not possible, no problem. If you don't know which way that is, it's okay. But if you do, go ahead and face north. And then stand with your feet slightly narrower than shoulder width apart, with your toes pointed straight forward as opposed to pointed inwards or outward, pointed straight forward. Take a nice deep breath and just feel into your body. Tap in with your heart space, feeling into gratitude in this moment, just gratitude for the ability to tap into these healing modalities, the ability to use your intuition to find what information you need in whatever moment, to follow the synchronicities, gratitude for whatever you feel grateful for in your life. That helps your body to be able to test accurately. Now, taking a moment to allow your conscious mind to essentially take a back seat for a moment. We are not going to consciously answer these questions or test these subconscious belief systems. We are going to allow the subconscious mind to answer. So I'm just pulling up a few of the most common here as you settle into this centered space. Bear with me just a second. And we'll see what comes through here in a minute. Just feeling into your body. I'm going to pull up some members' most requested subconscious beliefs. Beautiful. So, as you're standing, go ahead and state out loud, just state yes. This word yes is a test to see how your body responds. Your body should move forward. And then come back to center and go ahead and test no. And your body should move slightly or more backwards. If that is what happened for you, that means that you are properly calibrated. Sometimes you may need to drink water. You can always pause this as you're listening to the recording and come back and start right off by this calibration yes and no process. And then once you're properly calibrated, go ahead and test next. So how this works is I will have you test, and then I will ask you for permission if it needs to be cleared. So I will walk you through that, but that's how it works. Go ahead and test just by stating, I am worthy of success. And if you got a no, or if your body moved backwards and you would like to, go ahead and give me permission, and I will download that for you. So now you're going to go ahead and retest. I am worthy of success. And now you should be getting a yes or a forward movement in your body. Next test, we're just going to hit a couple different topics here. Go ahead and test. I am divinely protected. And if you got a no, go ahead and give me your permission, please. And go ahead and retest. I am divinely protected. And now you should be getting a yes. Next test. Let's see. Okay, this is a beautiful one. This is from our personality traits and confidence workshop. So go ahead and test. I know how to understand my personality. If you got a no, go ahead and give me your permission, please. And go ahead and retest. I know how to understand my personality. Now you should be getting a yes. All right, one more really beautiful one here. Trixie, let me know when we have to move on.
We're good for another one, I think.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. This is a great one. Go ahead and test. I know the difference between thinking and feeling. If you got to know, give me your permission, please. And go ahead and retest. I know the difference between thinking and feeling. And now you should be getting a yes. And while that seems like a simple topic, take a moment to recognize how that could be an underlying trend in your life. We do have a lot of overthinkers, and that can be a little debilitating. So now you contain, your subconscious is on board with the belief that you, in fact, know the difference between thinking and feeling. And you will see signs in your life to remind you to tap into what you feel about something, how you feel about something, and also just tapping in to recognize the times when you need to take a breather, take a break, center, focus, and just experience life from a little more peaceful place.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Absolutely. Thank you.
That was so
much.
funny. I just love to be able to participate with those exercises. And again, I'm very grateful for you to take the time and share that with us. I was giggling because it's like you could just feel it right there in that moment, you know, when you got the download or the upgrades, the codes, and the correction of it. And then you're finally leaning forward for that yes. It's such a good feeling, and it makes you want to shake your head like that was almost too good to be true. And yet it was. It was very good.
Exactly. Yes. I love it. I'm very
this
excited.
Is amazing. I am very pleased, yes, to have you and to have your enthusiasm and passion for sharing this work to everybody. And again, I highly recommend everyone to check out thetrinityroom.com. And if you're on Facebook, find The Trinity Room. And, of course, look at their free gifts with a premium package and, get yourself started in a direction. They're really affordable. The membership is very affordable right now. At this time, is good for everyone who's struggling even financially.
Yeah.
So check it out. Look at it. You're most welcome, Amber. Thanks again for being here. It's been my pleasure. And we will talk again, I'm sure.
Beautiful. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome. And then again, for those of you who wish to further see and look at what I have to offer, visit my website, soulbalancing.world. And we will connect with you again and talk shortly. Thanks, everybody.
heard instead, dear listeners, through podcast radio on RealRevolutionRadio.com. Never before has inspirational podcast radio been taken to this next level of wow. Until now. Today, in the age of information, more and more people are searching for answers and in solutions in how to better approach and perceive every day-to-day concerns by tuning in to RealRevolutionRadio.com. Isn't it about time we take back our lives, back in consciousness, in a higher state of awareness, in the evolution of our own state of higher well-being? Yes, we can do so consciously every day by tuning in to the many groundbreaking and third eye-opening podcasts. Our new Cleveland-based network of over 33 paradigm-shifting internet talk shows. Only on RealRevolutionRadio.com. Be part of that change. Evolve. Be inspired.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. 30% of Americans who are planning home improvements of $5,000 or more will pay for those renovations with a high-interest credit card. That may not be a great idea. A better idea may be to take cash out of your home with a Quicken Loans 30-year fixed-rate mortgage. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 4.125%. APR 4.22%. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Rate subject to change. Pay 0.88% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. License in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Hi, it's Jamie, Progressive #1, #2 employee. Leave a message at the... Hey, Jamie, it's me, Jamie. This is your daily pep talk. I know it's been rough going ever since people found out about your a cappella group, Mad Harmony, but you will bounce back. I mean, you're the guy always helping people find coverage options with the Name Your Price tool. It should be you giving me the pep talk. Now get out there, hit that high note, and take Mad Harmony all the way to nationals this year! Sorry, it's pitchy.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.